Morning, everyone. Almost afternoon. I'm a bit later this morning. I had a packed schedule on this Friday. We are on day 20 of the Healthy for the Holiday season. We have, or Healthy for the Holiday series, I guess I should say. We have a couple weeks left until we hit the new year. Can you believe that? 2 weeks left, just over 2 weeks left until we hit the new year. And I will be here with you the whole time. Next week, we're going to be doing the Is It Worth It challenge. It's one of my favorite challenges, or I should say it's a fan favorite challenge. Everybody loves this challenge, and this is a perfect time to do it. I will set that up for you for next week. And we are wrapping up our week on radical responsibility. Just a couple of quick announcements. If you are not already on the waitlist for The Shift, which is my small group program that takes you completely through soup to nuts transformation, everything from the nervous system to your belief systems and identity, to your behaviors and habits, to what to eat, how to eat, your relationship with your body, your relationship with the food. We do all of that together in our small group format. That starts January 21st is our first group of 2023. And that group is moving from 3 months to a 6-month long program. So it's really, really exciting. The biggest piece of feedback that I've gotten is that people want to be in the container together longer, which is fantastic. And I love it. So we're going to facilitate that starting in January 2023. 3 months of immersion learning, 3 months of integration. If you are not already on the waitlist for that, I highly, highly, highly suggest you jump on that waitlist. We'll get some extra bonuses and an extra week and a half to sign up before anybody else does. I do close the doors when we are full. So I highly suggest jumping on that waitlist so you can get right in, make sure you claim your spot. Okay, so radical responsibility, we're going to wrap that up this week. And here's what I want to say. We went through radical responsibility from a few different lenses. One being, do you keep the commitments you make for yourself? Do you keep the commitments you make to yourself? Are you self-integral? Do you do what you say you're going to do? Another lens being that the world is a series of neutral events. We make them positive or negative by what we attach to them, and taking responsibility for the fact that what we attach to them, the lens that we see things through, is our responsibility, not our fault. It is not to place blame. It does not put us in the victim seat. It puts us in the driver's seat to say, no matter what the circumstances in my life, I am responsible for how I respond and react to them. And the reason why I felt like this was such an important topic to touch on is because from my clients, what I have heard is that there's so much empowerment is the word. There's so much empowerment when we can learn to really ingest those concepts and live by them day to day. It helps us relate to people differently. It helps us communicate with people differently. It helps us view our decisions differently. It helps us experience our lives differently. So we're not constantly in this place where if the circumstances are just so, then I'm okay. When we live from a place of radical responsibility, we start to have a belief system that no matter what the circumstances are, I am okay. And I don't need people to be a certain way. I don't need life to unfold a certain way. I don't need all the circumstances to be, lined up in a certain way in order to be okay. And that creates a strong foundation and a strong sense of empowerment. And for some people, that takes more practice. It takes more intentionality. For others, the way their nervous system developed and some of their innate characteristics, it comes more naturally. There is no right or wrong. If that's something that you really struggle with and you find yourself, when I present these concepts, going, what? That is impossible, because when he does this, I feel that. When she does this, I do that. When this happens, I feel this and that. And I don't see how I could ever change that. It may take more intention and a little bit more deep dive and more quote work in order to get to that place. But I believe that everybody has the capacity to live from this place, that we are in full agency of how we respond to things. We are in full agency of how we take in the information, the people, the experiences, the social media, the news, the conversations, the communication, the people we come in contact with, that we have full agency over how we respond to that. Now, I've been doing this work for years, and even myself, I'll find I'm driving down the street and someone cuts me off, and I have this moment of, oh, how dare you, and why do you think you can do that, and there's a drive to tailgate them or something like that. I'll have those moments, and then remember, hey, it is in my wheelhouse to decide how I want to respond here, and this response is not serving me. It's making me have a less positive experience of this moment. And it's doing nothing to the driver in front of me who just cut me off. He or she could care less about me over there in my car fuming, right? How dare you? It takes practice, right? It's still sometimes infuriating when that happens. You still have a tendency to want to, and it's not, I think it's really important to acknowledge that this isn't toxic positivity. It's not trying to stuff down how I feel. It's not just try and be kind and don't worry about it. It is a genuine, hold on a second, that response impacts me negatively, and I don't deserve to sit in my fuming car and feel fuming. I'm going to turn that around and choose a different one, which is very, very different than saying, I'm not allowed to feel angry. I'm not allowed to feel frustrated. I'm not allowed to feel that way when somebody cuts me off. So there are definitely times, depending on the situation. Now, if somebody cuts me off in traffic, to me, it's not a good use of my time to allow myself to be mad and angry and how dare you. Not a good use of my time. But let's say somebody very close to me steps over a boundary or says something really hurtful or something like that. It might be a good use of my time for me to say, ooh, I acknowledge that's really hurtful, or that really frustrated me. You're gonna sneeze. That might be a good use of my time, depending on the circumstances, to acknowledge how that impacted me and be able to allow myself to be, frustrated or sad or hurt or angry or mad, and still decide how I want to respond, right? So there are certain times where I acknowledge that my response is making me feel bad and go, Eliza, this response is not worth it. Let's turn it around, right? There are other times when I acknowledge that my response is making me feel bad or angry or upset or whatever, and say, hey, yeah, that makes sense. The situation is hard and those feelings are really valid. And how would I like to move forward? What would I like to feel? Now, this is not just with people. This is circumstances. This is, situations. This is your garage door breaks and your refrigerator needs to be replaced. And if you're me in a current situation, you just painted your whole house and you didn't like the color. Yep, that just happened. And we were pretty frustrated because now we're having to paint it again. Whole big blow, right? And it's still my responsibility how I respond to that, right? And I did my own work when we found out we wanted to paint it again on how was I going to respond? What were the things that I could control? This situation is neutral. What I attach to it is positive or negative. That impacts how I experience my life. Now, you might be thinking, Eliza, this is a Healthy for the Holidays series. I'm just worried about eating pie. Why are we talking about this? As I started the week off, our state of being, our emotional state of being, is responsible for the majority of our food decisions. And when we are in a more regulated state, nervous system was week 2, videos, 6 through 10. When we are in a more regulated nervous system state, we make different decisions about our lives, including food. And so all of these videos and everything that we're talking about is so that you can look at how are you making decisions? How are you experiencing your life? How are you getting from day to day? And if you are white knuckling and holding on by a thread and angry at everyone and responding to each situation and pissed off all the time and negative Nancy and all that stuff, you are making food decisions commensurate with how you feel vibrationally, emotionally, right? So that's why we're talking about these things. Okay, I hope that was helpful for you today. Just a quick one. Next week, we are doing the Is It Worth It challenge. Hopefully you have watched all of the previous videos. If not, there's an opportunity to go watch them. If you're on Facebook, they're all categorized here. If you're on YouTube, they're all numbered there. If you are on Mighty Network, same thing. They're all there for you. You can watch all of the videos, which will lead up to using those tools, skills, and awareness skills that we've been talking about for the past couple of weeks to do your challenge next week, the Is It Worth It challenge. All right, everybody, I will see you for Healthy for the Holidays 2022 on Monday.